Hey Snake, got any words on Kevin?
The Sledgehammer? I heard that's just a myth.
Alright, now let's have a look. That's a lovely moustache. What's your name, sir?
Kevin.
Kevin, what do you do, Kev?
I train dolphins.
Train dolphins, so you're a bullshit artist. That's what you do, eh?
Certainly am.
Certainly am, and it's a beautiful moustache. You look like a rat peeping over a broom.
3, 2, 1, take it away, boys!
Go, fellas! Oh, this is a good song. Good thoughts, my friend. Oh, look at Nick go. Hello, Nick. Oh, a little bit of flogging there. Look at Nick. Look at the guys go. Oh, down and down, ladies and gentlemen. You got 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, this is Kevin. Okay, Kev, if you, how do you think you went?
Quite too bad.
Bit past. All right, let's see how Kevin went. Ladies and gentlemen, they like you, Kev. Oh, it's close. Kevin.
We have a winner!
Kevin, Nick, you've just been
Congratulations,
picked at the
Kevin!
post. Kevin, you're a winner. Nick, bad luck, buddy.
G'day ladies and gents, and welcome to a special edition here of North Heidelberg TV. Today, we focus solely on a man whose comedic, forever humorous behaviour, both here at North Heidelberg and across Australia, has created more laughter than anyone else before him. Before we got to the man himself, we thought we'd ask the people, see if they want to share any stories or experiences on the man. As expected, a lot of it was R-rated and not fit for this recording. But here's what we could dish up on Kevin Dale Elms.
You're driving up the wall, will you hurry up and get married so we can get rid of you?
Up at Port Douglas, I was playing with Kev, we were both playing in the seniors, and we broke the curfew the night before, so we got the call from Andy Biola, who's probably the scariest man in the world, that rang us the next day while we were having breakfast, told us we were going to get down there quick and play in the twos. So we ran down there, me, him and Crowley and another bloke, and we were all hung over as anything. The first 10 minutes, I think Kev went to shake one of the other bloke's hand, and he's just dropped to the ground. We all didn't know what was going on. The bloke who dropped to the ground, his teammate come to remonstrate, and Kev shit himself and put his hand up and poked the bloke in the eye, and he's dropped down on the other bloke, and it was just a bit lucky actually. And Kev come around with walking around with his chest out, saying he's killed two blokes. So yeah, from then on, every time he walked in the nightclub, he just pointed to the DJ and they'd play the Sledgehammer song. He'd just kick everyone off the stage and start doing his stuff. But he was the only one that really.
Elmsy, didn't Manton walk in on him with in Crowley's room with Crowley's basketball singlet masturbating?
Hey, have you ever heard the story about Kevin Dale Elms? The one where he's meant to have that girlfriend. He told me he had a girlfriend at Port Douglas. He's all happy and proud. He never had a girlfriend before, so he finally had one at Port Douglas. She's a fitness fanatic and she's right into her weights and that. She was a bit of a weightlifter. He said she's been in the Olympics and that. Saw her thinking, what are you talking about, Kev? Finally saw her. She was huge. You should have seen her. She was ripped to shreds. She was massive. And little Kevin Dale, had a little bit too much to drink that night. So he couldn't actually walk home. So there was only one way I could get home that night. She just whacked him straight on his shoulder and just carried him straight home. Kevin Dale Elms. I've never seen it in my life. It was the funniest thing of all time. It was grouse.
I'm just a huge fan of his, and he's an amazing guy too, by the way. I mean, he's like the most authentic guy. He is what you think he is, which is a different thing for a lot of people. But but one particular thing was I was very intimidated by him too, by the way.
Yeah, Elmsy managed to go and tell all these people once after he clipped me, while I brawled at our apartment in Port Douglas. I mean, I did throw 7 stubbies at him, and I do admit that it was a fair reason to for him to have a crack at me. But it was the aftermath that got me. He went around telling everyone at Port Douglas. Everyone asked me, Why did you fucking burn Elmsy's toast? And I walked around thinking, asking Kev, what's going on? Everyone's asking me why did I burn your toast.
Talking about the great Tezza Butch, I did roof tile with him. This didn't happen when we were working together, but he did come out and tell me the truth about it. He was working for himself, had a cash job. In the cash job, he had to go to a house in Hawthorne, 21 Auburn Street, Hawthorne. He went there, pulled the whole fucking capping off the roof, the entire roof. As he was doing it on a Saturday morning, the police turned up. As the police turned up, they yelled out to him, "Excuse me mate, what are you up to up there?" He said, "Oh look, I've just got a private job, it's a cashy, $800. They said, "Well, you're at 21 Auburn Road." Kev said, "No, 21 Auburn Avenue." He was at the wrong house. He had two old people in the house, covered up, thinking they were getting robbed. They rang the police. The police come to take Kev off the roof. Directly took him off the roof. The man is a fucking imbecile.
He was very nice man. I hate the fact that I've had to slag him off so much, but I just hate what he's doing.
But do you still support him?
I can't. No. I'd love to.
You don't know Kevin until you live with him. You know the real stories. The story behind Kevin. It's like a soap opera. Things I've seen Kevin do, no one will repeat. But I will. The hardcore stories. Like catching him masturbating on a couch with a towel underneath him because it gets too hot. Also, having him go to the races dressed as a drag queen with the boys one weekend after a bye, and putting Muncho Man in the gay side of the Prince of Wales Hotel and getting totally nude. Luckily he had big hand protection. Also, what have we seen Kevin do? I've seen him when he was a trader dog, we like to call him, when he went to Lower Plenty, tell the club legend Greg Massey that he wouldn't piss in the club if it was on fire. Kevin proceeded to headbutt his fist numerous times and cry his eyes out. What else can I say about Kev? What sort of bloke is he? He's a ladies' man, a man. But he knows, and I know, he paid me every year not to go on man. He's a weak dog.
First one I'll say is I was working at Lower Plenty one day. I used to do security at Lower Plenty, and one of the boys there was also a security guard at the Marquee Club in the city. And we're standing there having a chat, and a couple of boys walk up to the door, and he goes, "See this bloke over here?" I said, "Yeah, look, Liam." It was Elmsy. And he goes, "I've got a story about this bloke." I said, "What's the story?" He goes, "Well, last week I was working at Marquee, and I kicked the bloke out because he dapped one of his mates. And then he's come back in through the air vents from the top of the Marquee, followed the music through the air vents. He's pushed the crate out and hit me straight in the head. I look up and I see this bloke hanging out the vent with soot all over his face and that. We dragged him out, kicked him out again. I said, "Well, I live with the bloke." I spoke to Elms about it the next day, and he said he actually got an extension ladder. He went outside, pissed, he got his ute, drove it around to the laneway. And he's probably thinking how he can get back in, and as true Elmsy style, he's gone the next level. He's pulled his ladder out, climbed onto the roof, pulled the vent out, climbed through, followed the music, and then just jumped straight in and just tried to get a knife cut through the air vent. That's gold, mate. That's the best thing I've ever heard of anyone ever do. So.
And it's just, you won't believe it. I mean, people think that, okay, now they're fighting. We fought on virtually the first day, because we used to know each other from university and all that, and we used to fight about musical ideas and this and that, because we're all very strong characters, we all have egos and all that, so we always kept fighting. But I think the fighting seems to keep us together.
Lived with the bloke for a couple of years with Crowley, Jason Crowley and Elmsy. Lived in an apartment in Fairfield for a while, then in Brunswick. We used to go out every weekend, pretty much on a regular basis. All the boys would go out, and we'd always leave on a Saturday night, and Elmsy would walk out, all pumped up, and he'd just throw his keys into a big bush near the front door. And then the funniest thing about it, next day he'd be spending the whole Sunday looking for his keys. But the actually funny part... Yeah, as for Billy's story, I'd like to back that up. I did hear that was the case. Someone caught Elmsy in Jason's bed with Jason's basketball singlet on, playing with his old fella.
And I was looking forward to meeting him because, of all the controversy around him. And he turned out to be a very pleasant surprise. I mean, he's a teddy bear. He really is.
They just got me on camera telling a story about Elmsy when he was in Crowley's basketball singlet.
Oh, that's it. You should have. What you should have done, you should have told him that story when there was 9 of them with all the boys and had a pulling comp. Like no one picked up or something. They had a pulling comp, and first time to blow, Elmsy comes first and third. That would have been grouse. Would have got him a view.
Went out one night, come down to the stairs after a big night, and I see Elmsy with his jocks on, nothing else, and a few of the boys are whipping him with a big whip. He's been over the table and they're going whack, hard as they can whipping him, so he loves that sort of shit, so yeah.
Yeah, old Elmsy, the old Sledgehammer. He left North Heidelberg, this real big tough man, went down to lower plenty, and we went to watch him. He made a grand final one year. And at three-quarter time, the sides were a bit close, and we said to Kev, we'll gene him up. If the game gets a bit close, Kevin, is he going to lose? Just try and hook someone. Anyway, we're standing on the sidelines, gene him up, yelling, hey, Kev, there's a punch on the other side of the ground. We're going, Kev, hook someone, hook someone. Anyway, him and his opponent start running across the ground. Kev's the big tough man, hooks a 16-year-old kid once again. And once he's hooked the kid, we thought, oh yeah, Kev's going to get stuck in here. Next minute, Kev's butchy boy, and the kid's got on top of him. And next minute, about 4 or 5 Diamond Creek blokes come over, and Elmsy once again, bleeding from the nostrils, get up. The hard man, the old Sledgehammer. He's not real tough, the old Sledgehammer.
Which is a shame because we all love watching him play.
If you really know Kev, you know he has an alter ego. Terry Butch. First came to light on a cruise ship. When Kevin went for a swim or a bong, Terry had to go too. One day, Terry only comes out when Kevin's angry, or Kevin's nervous, or Kevin's horny. One day in the footy field, I told him the night before that there was a bloke playing for another side called Jonesy against Bundoora, and he was a big mouth. So Kevin, the next day I rock up the footy and get there, and I said, Kev, why are you on the bench? He goes, I've been sent off. Why is that? He goes, oh, Terry decided to come on this quarter. He goes, well, that's repeatedly told by the crowd that Jonesy supposedly had a go at Kevin. Kevin pulled his jumper over his head, punched him numerous times in the face and got sent off. In proceedings after that, he was sitting on the bench with an ice pack on his ear. And people asked, what's the ice pack for? He goes, shouldn't be for me ear, it should be for Terry's knuckles. It's one of Kevin's tough stories. It's not for Kevin, it's for Terry. Terry's Kevin's confidence. Thank you.
Which is a double entendre.
You'd advise him not to go for those footballs?
I would.
But isn't that part of
I'd rather have him on the park for 99% of the game than spending weeks in hospital having his face repaired when there's no need to do that. He doesn't have to prove that to his teammates. Cause
To all those people in North Heidelberg, if you don't want to meet Terry Butch, don't burn his toast.
Well, young Kevy Dale, I'm that relieved that you're getting married because I was very concerned. I thought you were a wee bit that way inclined, you had a bent wrist.
As you can see, he's a man of such character, one you don't come across very often. I've also seen firsthand what Terry is capable of. He once patched the fattest bird I've just about ever seen. The Lions had just been defeated, so Terry thought he could cheer Kevin up by patching a peppermint patty in the locker room at Etihad Stadium. I've seen Terry savagely attack Bestie after he wished him misfortune in the last leg of the quaddie once. Terry then released a statement that the Butch was back. But probably his greatest effort, that I, along with many others, witnessed this day, was when we were lining up to get into the Future Music Festival at Sydney Myer Music Bowl. The line was getting big, only staff were allowed in at the time, and Terry became impatient. So what does he do? He walks up to the front, flashes his ID, told him he was staff. He got in. Inside, walking around on his own, what was he to do? He walks over to the Ferris wheel, speaks to the guy, says, I'm DJ Fingers. I've got a 4 o'clock set. I want to fire this thing up, let me on it. So he fires it up, he tests it out. Next minute, Big N.H.F. gets a call. It's Elmsy. He's at the top of the Ferris wheel, waving at us all, saying, have a look at me, I'm DJ Fingers. I'm on the Ferris wheel. I've got a 4 o'clock set. Amazing effort. But you wouldn't expect anything less from the man. He's once Mr. Sexpo, a multiple man-o-man champ, karaoke singer, break dancer, a jockey mentor, a male model, and the current holder of a hazel belt in UFC cage fighting. He's also vice president of the Ronan Keating fan club. Be sure to check your feeds, people, as next time on North Heidelberg TV, we get to the man himself, Tezza Butch.